I want you to stay where you are, and I want you to hear this, because this is going to be important for your life.
We're on.
Hello. We decided since we were going to do a Facebook Live... What was that? What are you doing over there?
Are you lounging for the sermon?
No, I'm not going to lounge for the sermon.
We're still live, friend.
Oh, well, I told you to turn it off.
Yeah, I didn't listen.
We'll do it live! And we'll do it live!
What? Disciples and Jesus and all of these people that are just guys. Now, what's so cool about this? So there you go. That is girl power in the New Testament, and I am all about it. What's up, precious people? I'm sure this will be great. I don't know if you've caught this. Daggone! We're here to study the Bible. We're here to study the Bible. We're here to study the Bible. Might get us in trouble, cause we're being intentionally provocative with our intros. Yippee! I'm gonna encourage you to not be a jerk. We as a community are not massive.
But here's where it begins to get good. I've heard of so many stories from the last 8 weeks or so of community as it should be, of people helping other people. I know we may talk a lot about community at TRP, but true community can really make a difference.
So, Susie, when I started thinking about this video and what I was going to say, the first word that came to mind was joy. Being around you brings joy to people, and you are always a joyful person. Every time I see you in church, you've got a big smile on your face. One example of that would be when the boys were younger, there were several times where, for whatever reason, they weren't wanting to go to church. They were dragging their feet, and a way to put a smile on their face was to tell them that Miss Susie was going to be at church. And without fail, that always put a smile back on their face and got them motivated to go to church. So I just wanted to take this time to say thank you for everything you do for us, and have a wonderful day.
Hi, Josh. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you, and I especially love listening to you each week when you get really super nerdy about the Bible. That's definitely my favorite part, when you get into the nitty-gritty details of what the text is really saying. So I really appreciate that about you. I also love how you've helped to create this space that welcomes different questions, different ideas and doubts. So I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a great month.
Like, turn to your neighbor and say, daggone! Gosh, Paul, that is some tortured mess. Are you okay with this? And they aren't.
So, Suzi Peterson. I have to say, I usually take a really long time to get comfortable at churches because I'm a little bit quieter and shy initially, and it was awesome to come into TRP and have you be so energetic and warm to someone that you didn't know at all, and immediately it was just, I was put at ease, and then I found out that you know all these great people that I knew, and I wasn't surprised because I always think great people have great friends. So you didn't disappoint. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for being such a great friend and support, and welcome to the church for me.
So there are a lot of things that I could say to you that I appreciate about you as well, but honestly, I needed my progressive church experience to be one that my wife could appreciate as well. And the role that you played for her was really an important role for me as well. That of a friend and someone who genuinely loves honor and us. So thank you, Suzi.
Love you, Susie.
It looks like a ginormous mosquito. I hate it. That's a mosquito, Tessa. Kill it. Kill it. Come on, don't play around.
Glad we got that on.
When I think of Suzi and the Petersons, I think family. Suzi, you have just a kind and generous spirit. You're someone who welcomes everybody. You don't take life too seriously, as I've witnessed on many occasions, and it's always a good time. And there seems to be no end to your hospitality. I know you sometimes doubt that you're enough of a pastor, whatever that means, but I hope that you can lean into the fact that this is such a natural thing for you, and it's clear to everybody. You know how to care for people well, you know how to see the needs of people, and you have things to say that people need to hear. Thanks for being so authentic in the way that you live your life and for living by example. Thanks for bringing everything you are to the table and for welcoming others to join you there. Love you, Suzi.
Please receive the bread type thing that you have. Go ahead and receive the juice / latte that you have. I forgot to tell you, I've got a flash sale on TRP sweatshirts. A flash sale. I've got two. I've got not one but two mediums. $10. It's the most comfortable sweatshirt you've ever had in your entire life. That is a money-back guarantee. Money-back guarantee.
So, here's the thing about Josh. My relationship with Josh is amazing. You know, we're just buds. But the best part of him being a pastor and friend is when we were coaching soccer together. And he was like Coach Taylor to me. Like, anytime I needed him to bring me down, he would bring me down. You know, he'd be like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's not do that. Like, anytime I was like yelling at my own son because he wasn't doing what I needed him to do on the field, hey, Marshall, cut that out! You know, he would just bring me right down. So, Josh, love you, really appreciate you. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
So radically different.
I struggled to make these videos. I didn't know how to put into words just how impactful Josh James has been to me. Because he's been so impactful that I just don't know how to even like do a brief video. But I just wanted to speak on how present he has been in my life and the life of his parishioners. And parishioners, that's a fun word. So when he was speaking at the Pew Flag event for LGBTQ inclusion, and literally it was like a football game. Like, my mom screams at the football game as if they could hear her. I was screaming at the screen as if they could hear me because I was just so proud of Josh James and how much work he has put into his beliefs, how much knowledge he has about the Bible and what it says about LGBTQ inclusion, but also like taking into account people that he's met and looking at it from all aspects. So just the way that he has been intentional, even when I'm not intentional about it for myself, what he has been intentional about being affirming, being an outspoken pastor who's affirming, going to events, even when he might not feel like he's the best person for it, you know, imposter syndrome and all that. He has stood up and been intentional about it. That's just so meaningful. Not just having a belief, but not saying anything about it, stepping forward in the community. So thank you, Josh.
What is that song?
Hey Susie, I just wanted to send you this video to say that I appreciate you. When I think about who you are for our church, Susie, I just want to say that you're the real deal, and you're definitely someone who follows Jesus with your whole life, and I really appreciate that example that you give to all of us, and there's just the ways that you encourage everybody and you take care of people in our church. So I really appreciate you, and I hope you have a great month. When I think of Josh and the Jameses, I think family. Josh, you have opened my eyes to such a new and beautiful way of seeing the Bible, seeing the world and seeing God's people. I know sometimes you doubt this, but your voice is so needed, especially in a world that tends to try to quiet questions. I'm so grateful to be in a community where questions are honored and given the space that they deserve, where all people are welcomed for exactly who they are, where humor is always welcome, and where people aren't afraid to go into uncharted territory. I truly have no idea where I would be without TRP and its community, and I'm so grateful that you decided to take a risk and start this church nearly 9 years ago, which is crazy. Josh, thank you for the tough love over the past 8.5 years. I've cried in Rise Up in public on more than one occasion. A big thanks to you and to Kate for your sacrifices for this church and for trusting me with Abe and Jude all of those years. That hasn't gone unnoticed. Your care for people is so evident in the way you give your time, energy, and the way you step out for the sake of others. Thank you.
Josh, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for our church. Your sacrifice, the time spent investing in each individual one of us, your passion for bringing the word to us each and every week. We can't tell you enough how grateful we are for your dedication. And I can say that you have ruined me for sitting under any other pastor, because I love the way you bring the word to us in such a rich manner, not just a shallow, surface level presentation of what the Bible says, but it's a deep, introspective look at the word, in which I've never been able to do before. Each week I look forward to coming and hearing what you have to say, and I am truly grateful for it. So, never apologize for getting nerdy with the Old Testament. It is outstanding. I can truly say that I'm very grateful to have you as my pastor and to call you a friend. So, thank you, Josh.
So, a few years ago, I was looking for a church where I felt like I could breathe, and someone recommended TRP and Josh James, and they were correct, and I knew in about 5 minutes, having sat in the pew for the first time, that I had found somewhere where I could breathe again. So thank you, Josh, for delivering the word in that way for me.
And Josh, thank you for being funny and fun and making me laugh and letting me know that that is okay as part of church. Church doesn't have to always be serious and, school-like. I think it's nice to feel like it really can be community where we all just get to love and enjoy each other at the same time, learning about God. So, thank thank you for that.
Suzi Peterson sees everyone as a child of God. You wouldn't always hear that from the pulpit because she's not always preaching, but you can tell that she sees you as a child of God and she loves you in that way. Seeing her interact with the people at church, seeing her interact with anyone in the community, it's clear. She will invite you into her home. A couple years ago, I was suicidal, honestly, and having a rough time, and she said, you know, come over, sleep on my couch, you know, have a place to stay where you're safe. And I can't even talk about how important that is to me. Having conversations with her throughout the week or at church about our week. It's small details, but she cares about it. I've just never had a pastor like Suzi, and I'm really thankful for her because of the impact she's had in my life and how deeply I know she cares about everyone in her church and in her community. Thank you, Suzi.
May we remember that we're not alone, that we never have been, and we never will be. For folks that need to reach out, I pray that you would empower them to send a message, to shoot a text, to reach out to someone. I would ask that you would also help us as we take spiritual inventories of our lives and figure out what you're calling us to with our next steps, where we can identify with, support, and love and care for believers in humble circumstances. God, we're thankful for Jesus. We ask that you would help us to proclaim his death and his glorious resurrection until he returns. And we ask these things all in his name.